Hello, first grade scientists. This is Mrs. Miller with Lesson 5 of Science, where we will be exploring seeds. Today we'll get to look at the inside of a seed. But first, let's look at some different seeds. Can you guess what will grow from them? You might recognize these seeds. We read about these seeds. Do you know what they are? If you know, call it out in 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to show you the label. Do you see what it says? These are sunflower seeds. That's right. Big, beautiful sunflowers will grow from these seeds. Do you recognize these seeds by any chance? If you think you know what they are, call it out in 3, 2, 1. These are grass seeds. You might have seen your parents lay grass seeds down on your lawn. Grass will grow from these seeds. I wonder if you recognize these seeds. I'll give you a hint. There's something that people carve this time of the year, and when you carve it, you might find these inside. If you think you know, call it out in 3, 2, 1. That's right. Those are pumpkin seeds. Pumpkins will grow from those seeds, from these seeds. Pumpkin seeds are also a type of seed that people eat. Maybe you've roasted pumpkin seeds with a little bit of salt on them to eat them. They're actually really delicious. What could these little seeds be? I would be really impressed if anybody knows what these seeds are. If you know what these seeds are, then you must be real gardeners. Okay, if you think you know, take a guess. Call it out in 3, 2, 1. Those are radish seeds. Radishes will grow from these seeds. Have you ever had radishes? Maybe you've had them sliced up in a salad. They have a very strong, like peppery taste. I just love them. I think they're delicious. They're very crunchy. Now, what are these tiny little seeds? I'll give you a hint. Something that grows from these seeds can also be put in a salad. People think that this is a vegetable, but it's actually a fruit. And it's usually bright red. Those are your hints. Okay, I'm going to count down. See if you can guess what type of seeds these are. 3, 2, 1. Did you guess tomato seeds? If you did, you're right. Tomatoes will grow from these seeds. And as we learned in a previous lesson, tomatoes are in fact fruit, although most people think of them as vegetables. Anything that has seeds inside of it, where you eat the seeds along with the outside, is considered a fruit. Pretty interesting, right? Now, what could these seeds be? I'll give you some hints. Bread is made from this. Oatmeal is also made from this. Does anybody know? Call it out in 3, 2, 1. Those were oat seeds. Oat will grow from these seeds. And as I mentioned in my hints, bread is made from oat, and oatmeal is also made from oat. This is what oat looks like when it grows, and then machines take those stalks of oat and they really, really shake them out to get all of these little oat seeds off of them. Then the oats themselves can be turned into oatmeal, or they could be ground up and made into bread. All right, I bet you recognize this. This is another type of seed that we actually eat. And this is dried out, but what you eat is not dried out, unless you're popping it. That's my hint. Call it out in 3, 2, 1. That's right, those are corn seeds. Another word for corn seeds is corn kernels. You've probably heard that before. Corn will grow from these seeds. And as I mentioned in my hint, popcorn is made from the dried out seeds of corn or corn kernels. Have you ever made popcorn before? Here's another type of seed that we eat. A lot of kids don't like these, I've heard, but I think they're delicious. These are the seeds dried out, but you can actually eat them fresh or dried. Can you guess what they are? 3, 2, 1. You guessed it, they're peas. Peas will grow from these seeds. Last but not least, do you recognize these? This is something else that we can eat. We can eat these. I'll give you a hint. They're actually a type of bean. And beans, did you know that beans are a type of seed? Some people eat these as a side dish. Okay, I'm going to count down. 3, 2, 1. These are lima beans. And just like peas, lima beans grow inside of a pod. This is a lima bean pod. And as I mentioned, people cook lima beans. You might have them as a side dish, or you might have them as part of your main dish. They're very delicious and very good for you. Have you ever wondered what's inside of a seed? Well, today we will find out. We will dissect a lima bean seed. But before we do, we're going to examine the outside of the lima bean. Let's observe it. So as I touch it, it feels really hard and really smooth. Let's look up close. I'm actually going to pull up a picture of a lima bean seed for you to get a really good look at the details of it. As you observe this lima bean, I want you to think about these questions. What color is it? What shape is it? What details do you notice? I want you to name those across your fingers when I say go. Ready, set, go. It is the shape of a, I notice. Okay, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Let me see if you observed the same things that I observed. I said the color is white. It's shaped, it's kidney shaped. Sort of looks like a kidney bean, right? And what details do I notice? Well, it looks smooth all around, except it does have this little bump here at the bottom. Now that you've observed this closely, it's time for your first activity sheet. So if you're at home, you'll find this sheet in your Google Classroom. If you're in school, your teacher will give it to you. It says First Grade Science, Unit 1, Lesson 5. What is inside of a lima bean seed? Don't forget to write your name and date. And the directions say, draw the outside of the lima bean seed, then draw what you think the inside will look like. So in this space here, I want you to draw what a lima bean seed looks like. Make sure to include the color, the shape, and any details that you notice. Then, once you're finished drawing the outside of the lima bean, I want you to take a guess. Remember, scientists make guesses. What do you think the inside of the lima bean seed looks like? I want you to draw another picture, making a guess about what the inside looks like. You can pause the video here, do this activity sheet, and then join me again. And unpause the video to learn more when you're done. Welcome back, everyone. If you have unpaused this video, then that must mean that you finished your 2 drawings. You did 1 drawing to show what the outside of a lima bean looks like, and 1 drawing to show what you think the inside of the lima bean looks like. So now it's time for us to dissect our lima bean seed. Let's get a look inside. I left this lima bean soaking overnight in water. I'm going to pick it up and feel the difference. It feels softer than the one that wasn't soaking overnight. In fact, look at this. So the outside, we call that the seed coat, it just peels right off. See that? Now let me open it up. Okay, now when I open it up, look at what we see here. Do you see this little part sticking out? We call that part the embryo. And that is where the stem will grow from. It will sprout up through the soil. And then all of this here, all of this white inside, that is the plant's food. This is where the food is stored. That's food storage. All right, scientists, we've dissected a real seed, a lima bean seed. Now we are going to read to keep growing our knowledge, keep growing our science brains. So we're going to read this book. It's called Seeds, and it's written by Grace Hansen. This first section is called A Seed's Job. A seed has one job. It is to make another plant of its kind. And look, this looks like it could maybe be a lima bean seed, although it's green. But some lima beans are in fact green. Do you see how it's growing? Yeah, so it looks like the embryo here is growing down to make its root, and then it also grows up to make its stem. Seed parts. The outer layer is called the seed coat. It protects everything inside the seed. So that's interesting. An easy way for us to remember that is to think about the coat that we put on in the winter, right? It protects us from the cold. Well, the seed coat protects everything inside of the seed. Here's the seed coat of a sunflower seed. Here's the seed coat of a chestnut seed. And here's the seed coat of a field bean. Inside each seed is a tiny plant. This plant is called this is a new word for us. Do you remember what it is? Say it with me. Embryo. Embryos need water, oxygen, and warmth. Then they can grow. Here's what an up-close picture of an embryo looks like. growing. When the embryo grows, it breaks out of its seed. This is called germination. That's a big fancy science word. Can you say that word with me? Germination. The radicle is the first thing to grow from the seed. The radicle is a young root. Do you see that? In some seeds, a young stem emerges next. It is called the plumule. The stem and leaves grow towards the sun. Leaves use light to make food for the plant. The roots grow downward. Roots collect water and food for the plant. The lower they grow, the more nutrients they find. The plant is strong. Now a flower can grow. The flower's job is to make more seeds. From seed to plant. And here you could see how a seed progresses or grows to be a plant. All right, first grade scientists, we learned a lot from that book. Can you please share one new thing that you learned about seeds from reading that book? Ready? Set. Turn and talk to somebody near you. You have 15 seconds. Share something new that you learned. One, two, three, eyes on me. All right. So I'll share something new that I learned. You know, I thought that the embryo grew into a stem and grew up. But as I was reading this book, I learned that in fact, the embryo grows down to form a root, right? And then it looks like off of that, it also grows up to make the stem. But the first thing it does is the embryo grows down to make a root. Very interesting. So we learned that there are three main parts to a seed. And this is a picture, a diagram of a lima bean seed that has been labeled. So the outside, do you remember what the outside is called? It's called, call it out in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Seed coat. That's right. And the seed coat's job is to protect it. Just like a winter coat protects us from the cold, a seed coat protects the inside of the seed. Then there's this part here that grows to make the roots. Do you remember what that's called? Call it out in 3, 2, 1. Embryo. And then surrounding the embryo and taking up most of the space of the inside of the seed is the 3, 2, 1. The food. That's what feeds the seed so that it can grow to become a plant. All right, now it's time for activity sheet number 2, where we'll be looking at the inside of a seed. For our last activity, you are going to do this sheet. Now, in the top right corner here, it says scientist. Who is the scientist? Yeah, that's right, that's you. So you'll write your name where it says scientists. Now it says here, split your seed in half. We've already done that. And we've learned about the different parts of the inside of the seed. So next, what we'll do is label the parts. Let's read through the labels that we'll be using. Ready? Read it with me. Food storage, seed coat, little plant, which is also known as the embryo. Okay, so you're going to label each part. Number 1 is pointing here. What is this called? Number 2 is pointing to the outside here. What is this called? And number 3 is pointing to this part here. That's the part that grows into the plant's roots. And what is that called? After you have finished labeling all of the parts of the inside of the seed, you can color this sheet. Then, once you're all finished with your activity sheet, you can come back to this video. So I want you to pause while you do your activity sheet. But once you're all finished, you can come back to this video. And do you see that blue button up in the top right-hand corner? You can click that to see something very, very cool. You'll get to watch a real live lima bean seed growing over 6 days. You'll get to watch it. It's a time-lapse video. So that means that the video has been taken and sped up really, really fast so you can actually watch it grow. It's very, very cool, and I hope that you enjoy it. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.